what are some of the options that you're most excited about to highlight on either the cookbook or the voyage tour?
Yeah, so on the our most recent um, options that I'm pretty excited about, especially on the 444, is moving away from AC aircons
Hmm.
to DC aircons. So we're changing to a new 24 volt DC aircon in the next 4 or 5 months. So this can be great. Variable speed, reverse cycle, um, just brings a whole new efficiency level. So the more the means we can also reduce our inverter sizes. We don't have to have 10 kilowatts. We can go down to 5 kilowatts because we're only running, a tumble dryer and a washing machine, and we've got a lot less AC equipment on board. The other product that has excited me is we've started using the North 3DR ocean sails.
Hmm.
Um, been fantastic. They're a lot lighter. Their performance is fantastic. We're seeing fantastic results. It's one of these bits of technology that if you're not a very experienced sailor, and I actually had a friend of mine who went sailing on one, they actually took a boat out and he doesn't come from a dinghy sailing background and he doesn't know a lot about trimming. And you were saying he found it so easy and the sails, because they were so advanced, they were so forgiving.
Okay.
So whilst you're sailing, if you went a little bit off course, upwind or downwind, the sails kind of held their shape really well. And it gave you a lot of drive and a lot of performance. So we were finding that sometimes we need to getting up to 30% extra performance because the sails are doing the work,
Hmm.
whereas your conventional sails, you've got to do a lot more trimming to get the same performance out of it. Obviously, being lighter,
Hmm.
they're easy to handle, easier to hoist, and because of the type of material, they're stronger. Especially when you're using your code sails, they can handle more wind. And we've got a sail that, like our Code 55, which comes way more versatile.
Okay.
Okay. There's cost attached to it, but all the boats that have been fitted with these sails, we're finding that their motoring has been radically reduced. Guys which have sailed from South Africa and stopped in Namibia, put some diesel in there, they still got Namibian diesel in their tanks after 11,000 miles. They only got half tanks full. And guys are finding that hitting 200 to 240-mile days
Hmm.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's easy. You're not having to push hard.
Hmm.
You're just sailing,
Hmm.
and it's doing it comfortably and easy. So that's a bit of technology I'm really excited about. Also, we've been the Paracel, not the Oxley, the Paracel, the new generation. Um, Also a fantastic sail. Also adds value to um, cruising couple.
Okay.
Easy to handle. Um, Pretty much any sail works in medium to strong wind. Obviously they've got different efficiency levels, and obviously the Paracel works really well in those conditions, and it takes away the especially in a confused sea, the sail collapsing or sailing into the sail and then banging out, and once that whole noise creates panic.
Right.
So, and it's not good for your sail. But where the parasail really comes and really impressive is light wind. So what are your best sailing conditions? Medium to light wind. You know, it's
Comfortable.
comfortable,
Okay.
sea's nice, and the parasail, especially on a confused sea or whatever the sea state is, it just flies. And like in 9 knots of wind, you can still be doing 5 knots, boats, downwind, which is unheard of on a conventional spinnaker because unless you've got a super lightweight and a specific light wind spinnaker, you just got a one sail that does it all. You're
Hmm.
going to struggle to sail that, use it. So it just brings a whole new element to sailing. So I think those probably the three biggest things recently that have excited me
Hmm.
and got me really excited, and I think it's added a lot of value to our boat.
Okay. So maybe one of the tougher questions that I was thinking about is, as you think of like the last year or two, what have been some of like the top three issues that you've seen come with the boats that you've launched, and how have you made the changes or adjustments?
So the last boats we launched have actually been fantastic. So, touch wood. So we actually had 5 boats from September to November leave now, isn't it? And all 5 boats did the transatlantic at different stages, but pretty much all at the same time period. Um, got fantastic results after 7,000 miles. The one boat only had one snag, which is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's what we're achieving. Um, Previous boats we've had like there's been like little issues like over a period of time where we've had rudder bushes or whatever the case is. Um, we've rectified it. It's been a machine little anomaly, and but we've got new parts out and carry new parts in the US or wherever, and we identified. But no, when something jumps out like that, what we do is we track all our boats, we permanent communication with all our boats, and we build these charts up. And if we see repetitive issues happening, um, and when I mean repetitive, we start getting our attention off to the second time it happens. When it
Right.
happens the third time, we like, okay, we've got to sort this problem out. So we're permanently striving to get to that point where you can go across the Atlantic and have that uniform moment where a boat doesn't have an issue at all.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, it's boats. There's so many moving parts. To single it out, there's no real single thing.
Okay.
I say our biggest frustration is filling third-party products.
Okay.
Um, we can control how Hawk can put their just together. We can control how our suppliers. However, we have selected equipment that we've got fantastic relationships with the vendors and we've got the support. But, you know, we do try and identify if there's a problem and we try to rectify this so we don't, and we can't rectify, we find a different part, so because we don't like having to deal with this stuff at the time. So
Mhm.
we live in nice though. We want to have fun.
Well, I think that also goes back to what you were saying earlier, where you're having that communication and support with owners post launch. And that creates where you're able to get some of that feedback loop. And when there are still problems and you make those adjustments. So,
And I think coming back to with one of your previous questions now, the growth.
yeah.
And so I'll probably say one of the things that we identified and was a problem, over the last 8 to 10 months
Hmm.
is that Hamish was handling our support, was handling our commissioning and our support, and we suddenly found because we were doing 10 boats a year, um, we landed up in a situation where we were overloading people, and we weren't getting back on our support as quick as possible, and so we identified that and we said, okay, cool, we're going to change things. So. Um, Hamish had been mentoring Jamie for many years, and so now it was time for him to step up. And now Hamish is only doing support, and he's 100. It's got to the point, and we've got big enough, and we've got enough boats there, which really needs um, that 100% commitment. And waiting a week for an answer is not acceptable. But for Amy, she was like pulled in so many directions.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest changes to me, actually from the beginning of January.
Hmm.
And so he will still be involved and be present for every single handover. So he's got that relationship, that meeting the people face to face, but the rest he'll be handling remotely. Uh, and he comes from that background.
Yeah.
He also did oyster yacht support for many years, and
Okay.
so and he's worked all the way around the world. He's got fantastic connections in the US, Europe, Australia, Hawaii, everywhere. So he's a real big asset, and so the support's going to be a massive thing for him.
Awesome. What systems or tools or considerations have you thought about in the design or outfitting the boat that help with docking?
So coming back to something I mentioned, obviously windage of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
You land with these condo type cats, which are massive flower bridges, and the wind catches there. It's hard to control. So obviously we've tried to minimize the windage of the design of the 444. Also, whether you're a short person or a tall person, we do have a little step at a helm. So the technique. On the Vision, you can pretty much see all your points of all 4 points. Um, and the Vision is actually a very easy boat to handle. Like any boat, it's just learning, how the boat moves. I wouldn't say there's any particular thing we put into the design, besides being able to, have a clear view of the different parts of the boat. If you're short, you can put the step down and stand up and look forward. I think a lot of couples, they have a lot of the marriage savers. I think the communication, I think that's pretty clear. I think I always say to people, and I try to make people a bit more relaxed about it. I'm like, guys, it's only paint, because people are like, they get so anxious about it. And also, don't be scared to come in hot if need be, especially when you got a lot of wind. As soon as you come in too slowly, too conservative, you're not making way, there's no water over your keels, there's no grip in the water, and the elements take control. So I think being able to prepare, but I think just by having the windage factor controlled, I think that's a massive plus. And then being able to have good points of view. And generally finding on husband and wives, the wife is generally the better docking person, historically. The woman's touch.
The lighter
Yeah,
touch.
yeah. So
Okay. What are you most excited about for Vision for 2026, 27?
So I'm obviously excited about our new model, our 484, which is, why we're bringing out a 484. We just feel that there's a sector of the market that wants a 4-cabin boat, and this is not for charter. This is 4 cabins for bigger families, extra kids, people which maybe socialize more. The boat is also designed for taller people. There's for more headroom. People ask me, how much boat's only 4 foot longer, but I said, everything's bigger. It's a brand new design. We haven't just taken this boat and stretched it. It's a brand new design. We've kept everything that works on the 444, but added elements which we couldn't add to the 444. We're going to be doing double head sails, Genoa, self-tacking gym. There's going to be a 48-volt system opposed to 20. So we're bringing more efficiencies and little tweaks. So yeah, I'm really excited about the 484. I think it's going to appeal to a whole bunch of a market that we haven't been able to appeal to. Will it make the 444 redundant? I don't think so, because the 444 really fits nicely into the market if you're going to be a cruising couple and you like a piece of home bunnies, if you want to call it. There's plenty of space, really easy to handle. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about you know our network that we're building globally. We appointed a lot of these people beginning of last year. It takes time for these guys really to get into the Vision mindset. Now I've already got people, clients, Vision clients that are sailing into the Pacific. I our dealers or our service centers have already reached out to these guys saying, anybody that comes in Pacific, please give our number. And give us their numbers. We want to reach out to them just to let them know we're here to support them. Um, I've got even the New Zealand guys and Australian guys. I reached out to the guys who are still in the Panama Canal. Saying, guys, let's start building a relationship. So it's really cool for me to see that and see how that's all integrating. I'm really excited about getting this med ready because right now I call the Caribbean the kindergarten. It's a really safe, flat area. There's a lot of islands around, and we've got a world map. And when you look at the world map, there's just a gazillion visions there. So I want to.
It is a pretty sweet spot.
Yeah. So my goal is I want to clear my map up.
Gotcha.
So so I want to get visions to explore and experience the Mediterranean, come back, and then start, doing global. We do have a vision in the Indian Ocean. I sent them that way, and they haven't come back. So it's we're trying to help people see the adventurous side. So I'm very excited to see that happening. I'm really excited to see our app grow and develop. And so I think this will just bring a whole new element to Vision. And I think we've got a phenomenal team of people around us, good like-minded people, and I think that's for the next 2 years. Definitely, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening.